Welcome everybody to episode 23 of Fireside Yarns with your boys Dave and Vinno. Missing Reese again tonight. He's away for work again, so we'll have to kick on. Dave, how you cruising along, man? You good?
Fucking really good, man.
Really
feeling
good.
fine. Feeling fine. It's a nice crisp Canberra fucking night. I'm on the lemon waters yet again. I feel great. I feel and it's a good one. It's going to be a good one tonight, I think. Too,
it is going to be a good one. That lemon tea's not burning your mouth, mate, is it? It's all good. That citrusy
no, it was
shit.
only pineapple, allegedly. Although we know it was proven a lie in the court of Fireside.
It was a good. I had a lot of fun with that episode. That was good fun.
It was good. It's doing well too. I think we nearly hit 200 on it, so that's a sign that it's good. It's now Tony Baker special, but it's doing good. But yeah, what do you got for us today?
Talking
mate?
about Tony
Episode
Baker
23.
and having a guest on. So tonight, and I'll crank into what the episode is when we get him on. But I do have a guest for you tonight. He's a good friend of mine and Reese's. We've had the pleasure of playing in a band with him. And known him for many, many years. Absolute legend of a bloke. So with no further ado, please welcome to Fireside Yarns for the first time, Benny Van Eyck. Benny, welcome to the show, man. First time. How you going?
Hey, thanks for having me, boys. Yeah, I'm going pretty well.
Fuck yeah.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Cheers, man. Cheers. I wish I had an alcoholic beverage to cheers you with, but...
Oh, man, me neither. I'm not on the brews tonight. I'm on the lemon teas. I was just talking to Vinno about it. Because I'm out in my shed now. I've been kicked out of the house because we've got a baby coming, so I'm freezing cold out in the fucking shed right now. So I'm opting for the hot drinks tonight.
Yeah, true.
So I'm joining you. But Vinno...
I'll do enough to cover for you.
But last week, Vinno went dry. So he's
had to.
He's doing it for the team now.
Had that tooth pulled, so I couldn't get stuck into it.
Yeah, right. Which tooth did you have pulled?
Oh, just one on the side there. It was one I had a filling in years ago, and the filling all got infected and ended up carving out the middle of the tooth. So, is what it is.
Yeah, sounds dreadful.
I'm not paying a few $1,000s for a tooth that might not live. So
just rip the bastard, eh?
That's it, mate.
It had its day.
Mate, it's had a fucking good run. But Bernie, what are you up to nowadays, man? Like we, as I mentioned it in your intro, we've played in bands and stuff together. Most notably Taken by Force in that for a few years. Are you doing anything with music wise again, or?
Oh man, I'd love to. Hey, I've been trying to. Currently, as it stands, myself and one of our friends, Bennett and Jordan, we're trying to write some stuff. So Bennett's written a few riffs, tracked them out a little bit and whatnot. So it's just trying to write a bit of an EP, but it's a bit of a process. It's a bit of a journey. Share the same passion and just trying to get people together. We're lucky that Bennett can write the riffs remotely. He's recording them at his place in Sydney, and he just shoots them through in an email to us once he's done. So now I've got to work out some lyrics. Jordan's got to work out what sort of a slow journey.
It's never easy getting the songs written and up and running and all that, is it? It's like can be a drag sometimes. First few tracks might be like shoot straight out the gate, but then to try and get an EP finished, it's difficult.
That's it. It gets difficult. I mean, it's fun. The creative process is definitely fun, and seeing what you can come up with and the finished result.
Yep.
As you know, Vinno, with like Taken by Force and whatnot, it was it's pretty exciting, but at the same time, it's the slowest part of the process as well. Especially when you're first starting a band. Like, I guess it doesn't sort of matter once you've got a bit of momentum and you've got a few albums out or whatever, a few EPs out, then it's sort of, you're used to that grind and the process. But when you're initially starting a band, it can be quite difficult and time consuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find it easier writing songs when you're all in the room together and kind of feeling it and bouncing off each other in real time, or do you think that when you are sending each other riffs and ideas and stuff like that, it actually gives you a little bit more time to play around with it and be in your own self? Like, what's easier? Obviously, there's benefits and positives, but
Yeah, I think like for me, mostly in the bands that I've been in, I guess we've generally written them outside of practice. So an individual will write a riff or whatever, write a song, send it through to the boys, and then we try to jam it out at practice. I mean, I think there's been a few riffs written in the practice room, but I don't know if any of my bands have ever written a full song together in the practice space.
Let's go home, take a bit home and work on it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you might someone might write a riff and take it to practice, and then someone else might be like, oh, fuck, I've got this riff that would go with that. And then the drummer comes in and they've got beats ready to go. Yep, sweet. This is gonna be a fucking tom section, or I'm gonna fucking blast this one out. But yeah, and then vocals, like with vocals, I always write the lyrics after the music's pretty much finalized. I find if I write lyrics prior, it's hard to try to fit that to the music. I like to try to fit the music to my you know what I mean? Yeah.
And also probably when you hear the music, that probably gives you like an aura and a mood of what the song's going to be like anyway. So it would be hard having lyrics and then trying to match it to some song.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of music, boys, it's going to be our topic for tonight. So what we've got is songs that have made you go, what the fuck? So that can be for whatever reason, whether it be a riff that you've heard and just it gets your attention. It could be a line or a lyric. It could be the whole song in general, or just the intro that's made you sort of step back and go, whoa, or grab your attention. So got 5 songs each. We're going to put forward one at a time and talk through it. But this is going to be an interesting one, I think, because it's pretty open for genre. And I reckon I can pick where Benny's genre is going to be.
Look, my genre is pretty
pretty standard.
Yes, it's pretty standard. Yeah.
So I think what we might do.
We're all pretty predictable here now, though.
No, I think you're fucking.
You think you're going to spin me out?
No, I think you're unpredictable.
I don't know. Will it be? I generally pick the same 2 or 3 bands that everyone we did. I thought I'd been pretty predictable.
Yeah, I reckon you'll have one that'll just come in and.
Yeah, we'll see. There we go.
See what happens. Anyway,
I'll tell you what, though, it's hard to pick 5 songs, boys.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Like I was saying to you the other night, we've got to limit it, otherwise we'll be here for days just talking.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about one song, then you're on to another. And I was talking to Benny a bit before this, and I didn't want to get too much because I wanted to talk about it for this. But yeah, it's probably getting harder for you, Vinno, with all these song lists and stuff. Not hard, but do you feel like, oh fuck, I said one in a previous episode, and I would have been great for now, and I just don't want to repeat it. So it forces you to kind of look down different avenues.
Yeah, I did have, and I think that's why I chose this as a broader range and pretty ambiguous sort of thing, because even doing this list, there was about 4 songs that I had to go back and check previous episodes because I had used them and I'd forgotten about it. So yeah, it is getting difficult in that sense.
Still fun because it forces you to
Well, I was out in the shed most of the day today with like music cranking, just making the list. So that's the fun part, is
the life. That's the life.
Yeah, actively, going and picking songs and writing them down on the list, and then like what you were saying, Benny, trying to get it down to 5. Like that's the hardest part,
man. It's difficult trying to narrow it down. 5 songs that have had an impact on you, and I think for me, look, my song's probably not so much the lyrical content, or it's probably like a time in my life, the sort of influential songs, that got me into the genre that I'm in. Songs that I heard probably, 96, 97, stuff like that.
Yep.
And onwards, that I still fucking listen to on loop to this day. You know, I'm a stubborn bastard. I still listen to the same shit.
That's my whole problem, man. I'm like that to a fault, to where it's very hard for me to get into new music, man, because I've such a high bar, you know what I mean, in my mind of what I feel like is good, and it's very hard to impress me. So I keep going backwards and reliving stuff, but even still going backwards, there's so much stuff I haven't discovered.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's faulted me. Absolutely.
That's our goal with this, is to try and give Dave.
As you, mate.
Our goal with this whole thing is to get Dave to stop being such a stubborn bastard and listen to new music.
I have to, because it's like that. I've said it before. It's like, now with the job I have, I can't just listen to music anymore. Whereas I used to just be able to fucking heaps of new albums every week and just listen to music all day, and I'll just be in the background of my life. But now it's not there. So I've a small period of time to fill with entertainment, and I've just been filled in with doom or politics shit and all, and I have been neglecting me discovery in music. But I think like Benny was saying, I picked songs that that I can think back in time, and I know what room I was in, and I know what it made me feel, and you know what I mean, it got me into a genre, or it sent me down a rabbit hole in some way.
Yep.
But then I went and listened to them like you, Vinno, today. I was like, yeah, that's the shit.
Fuck yeah. Well, we might kick off. We're going to go in a, once again, in a clockwise direction. We'll go from starting off with Davey, I think. Or actually...
We always say clockwise and then start off at like fucking 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Look, I'm happy to start. I'm happy to start with Dave. Yeah. You know, 10 o'clock. Let's do it.
All right, look.
When I say clockwise direction, I mean let's roll around that way. But
I might get this without, because I'm feeling this could double up with Vinno a bit. I don't know, but
I might surprise you tonight.
I have done an artist before, and I wanted to limit the amount of hip hop, because there's so much hip hop that's fucking wild and what the fuck me and holy shit, look what they said.
Yep.
But this one in particular, and I gave the artist before in a song called "You Never Know" by Immortal Technique. But this one, the first Immortal Technique song I heard, the first Immortal Technique song I think most people hear, and one of those songs that I think kind of bled into the metal community because of how fucking dark it was. And it was Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique. And it's, again, if you haven't heard it, I'm going to spoil it. So I'm going to spoil it a little bit, maybe. Maybe I won't give away the end. But it's just about a dude called William who's coming up on the streets, and like a lot of hip hop songs, it's about doing these things to prove yourself and to get broken into gangs. But at the end, the last big deed he has to do has severe ramifications, and it was it's just a crazy. I actually won't spoil it, unless we want to get into it. But
it's a great song, like storytelling wise. It's very impactful. It is. It's a great song, but a very fucking dark and nasty one too, man. Like it's, fuck.
Yeah, it was lethal.
Yeah. Actually, that might have actually come on the playlist. I didn't have it on my list today, but yeah, I was given a listen today.
Yeah. That's my number one. Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil.
I must say, I've never really got too much into Immortal Technique. I mean, I'm not like a massive hip hop fan or rap nerd, but I don't mind a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give it another crack. I reckon. Yeah.
I think being a lyricist yourself, and also it's doomy as fuck. It is like the reason why I say it crossovered into the metal community, because it does have kind of a horror movie soundtrack to it. I think you'll dig it.
That piano track with it is very eerie, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's like, the looping is beautiful. Yeah, it's kind of it's just
fuck yeah,
beautiful and eerie and creepy as fuck. Back alley. It's cold and there's rain in the background. Ah man, I won't even ruin it for you. But listen to the words all the way to the end. Fuck, and it'll flip you out. It's breathtaking but gross and unreal song. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah. What's yours, Benny? What's your number one?
Fuck, I've got like 14 songs written down, or more actually, and they're not in any particular order. But look, I'll go with I don't think it's secret to those that know me. Biohazard's probably my favorite band of all time. Yeah, look, my favorite album of theirs would be a tie between their self-titled Maze record and Urban Discipline, hence the username on everything. But yeah, with that said, probably their song Punishment would be the most iconic, I think, Biohazard song, and the one that stands out to me the most. You know, for a band from, you know, Brooklyn, New York, they had that street element, I guess, that bounce of a bit like that hip hop influence, I guess.
But they were before Limp Bizkit and all, really.
Before that, man, they essentially, you know, they could have been classed as the pioneers, I guess, of that genre. Yeah. But, you know, obviously they were more sort of rooted in the metal community and the New York hardcore scene. But yeah, look, I think for a hardcore band out in New York in that era, in the early 90s, you know, to have, I think that film clip was the most played film clip or video on MTV at the time, or Headbangers Ball or whatever. So it was pretty huge. But yeah, look, that song, it still gives me shivers to this day, just listening to that intro. Yeah, look, I won't ruin it for the listeners that haven't heard it before, but just the way it starts and then how the music comes in after the intro, it is, yeah, it's pretty intense.
It'd get you out of mosh retirement, mate, would it?
It would get me out of mosh retirement any day of the week. I'd be there. I'd probably pull a fucking calf muscle, but I'd be there.
Oh, as long as you don't end up in hospital. That's
yeah, that's right.
Tends to be my
you can elaborate more on that one, Vinno.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you in retirement? What's going on, Vinno?
Oh, mate, every time I go into the pit nowadays, I end up fucking hurt.
Yeah.
But it's not someone else hurting me; it's me fucking hurt myself. The last time I broke my foot was the last time, and that was at one of our shows in Sydney.
That's right.
I grabbed Max, and he just swung me around because I like almost tackled him, and he swung me around. There was a big concrete fucking pillar there. My foot swung around and smashed it, and yeah, I walked outside, and that was probably a bad idea because it was like middle of winter. It was cold. I've walked outside and instantly my foot swelled up, and yeah, it wasn't fun, but that's why I'm in retirement.
Get into a good night though, yeah? Or
I didn't end it.
Going?
No, I didn't end it. I think someone had some oxys or something like that.
Yeah, there might have been some oxys or some tramadols or something getting around.
There was enough pain. There was some painkillers there. I was happy enough.
There's street pharmacists out there always looking out for you, mate. Yeah.
That's it. Yes. My number one.
Yeah. Vinno, what's your number one?
I've got these in no particular order. Either I'm going to go with for my number one. This is a band I got into a little bit later than I think some other people did. Some of the other boys, and maybe you, Benny, got into. But this song was the first one that I heard of them, and it it sold me straight away. From the opening line to when it starts, you know, with a breakdown essentially. I was hooked. It's just a fucking great song. Awesome band as well. And we've had the pleasure of playing with them as well. The band is Kubla Khan, and the song is The Hammer. So that was the first song of theirs that I heard. And as I said, that opening line, and then when it comes in just with that breakdown, it's fuck. Yeah,
it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Very yeah. I mean, their music is so tough, but so simplistic, you know?
It is.
Just very, very simple but effective.
Yeah. It's just angry.
Yeah.
It's angry. Yeah. But that was, I think I had it on I had it playing just as background music. And I originally heard it and then went back, restarted the song and turned it up. And it was just like, holy fuck, what is this? Like, and then realized who it was, and sort of, I hadn't listened to them before. That was, like I said, the first song that I'd heard of theirs, and I was quite surprised because there was a bit of hype around them at the time too.
Guess you could say it hit you like a hammer, eh?
Fucking oath it did.
Big pun.
Nah, straight in with the pun.
That's the second time they've got a shout out, I think. Was it you, Reese, or someone else that picked them? I think I've definitely done a slide for them before.
I could imagine Reese giving them a bit of a plug.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not the hammer. Hopefully it's not the same song.
Nah, pretty sure it was.
Was it?
Nah, got no idea.
Way to go, Vinno. Way to go, mate.
I just threw the thumbnails in. Oh, we'll edit that old episode out. I'll check him out too,
because I didn't check him out the first time. I just recognized the name because I think it's also a Jedi mind trick song.
Yeah, right.
It must be a meaning. I think it's from something, isn't it? I don't know I've heard it before. It's something historical type of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I can't elaborate. No idea.
Yeah, give him a sus there. Yeah, it's pretty
we'll all check him out.
Pretty good. It's got that Texas sort of groove.
Mm. Well, I'm a Pantera fan, and I'm excited about the fucking, in my opinion, the better lineup.
Oh, I don't know about the better lineup.
I'm only messing with people. I cry, like me and my mates when Dime died. We were emo in school. We were doing crazy shit. I love Pantera, and I'm excited about the reunion. Obviously, it's not the ideal reunion that everyone wanted and hoped for would happen, but
yeah. But I guess
what are your thoughts there? How do you feel about that?
Oh man, I'm fucking pumped to hear him go around.
Go, man.
I'd 100% go. You know, hopefully they fucking bring it to Australia, but probably not. But yeah, I mean, like, Pantera, one of my favorite metal bands one of my favorite bands of all time. You know, I think Phil Anselmo is probably, you know, he'd have to be one of the best heavy vocalists of all time, well, in my opinion, anyway. There's not much he can't do, and I follow his stuff pretty closely as well. So, you know, obviously with the Illegals and all that sort of jazz, he's been playing a whole heap of Pantera songs anyhow.
Yeah, they did the Vulgar anniversary, didn't they? And they did
that's right. Yeah. So and they've done a pretty good job of it. But I mean, who better to get on guitars to replace Dime than Zakk Wylde?
Well, it's his family basically, you know, and even from In This River with that video clip of them and how close they are, and they're getting Dime's guitar tech, you know, and he's gonna play the instruments, and like you said, who better? Not just because they're friends and they're close and all, and he would be a great tribute, but the sound, like they've that pinch harmonic, fucking Randy Rhoads loving sound, don't they? And but Phil to me, and like you said, so much range. The air is like the 80s glam era Phil. The kind of interval between Vulgar Display and you know, when he still had the glam a little bit and he was in them high notes, but then when he fucking just got heavier and heavier. And I love Phil. I think he's one of the best frontmen ever. Like, and you watch those Pantera home videos, the way he rocked the crowd and fucking just a powerful fucking groovy force on stage, man. What a dude.
Just his presence alone makes him a fantastic frontman.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, he was just a fucking force, you know. And I think he actually because he was a bit of a obviously he's a metalhead, but he was he's a record nerd. Like, he collects records, and he's obviously a punk hardcore sort of kid as well coming up. I think he saw Agnostic Front back in the early days as well in the 80s, and I think he's a massive Black Flag fan. So, you know, I think he got a lot of his stage presence from like Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Not a bad thing to have, really.
No fucking way. Well, they both have that tough fucking tough as nails.
The household name, isn't it? Like,
scary dudes.
Yeah. Anyway, just in case anyone does have Pantera on, then we get dragged back into Pantera talk.
Yeah. What a shame that would be.
Righto, Dave.
Them as well, number two. Now,
what do we got?
Now let's talk about
Pantera.
All right, so, well, I'll say an inspiration to Pantera. Okay, a definite one. Now, I love, again, my story, got into metal through bloody Limp Bizkit, and then I got a tape from someone who's like, stop listening to that shit, here's some Metallica. And I was like, oh my God, man. And then I became a Metallica nerd. And my first song I got into was Four Horsemen. And I remember saying that to someone when I was a kid. I was like, they're like, what's your favorite Metallica song? You know, like the older lads would quiz you. And I'll be like, Four Horsemen. And he's like, oh, have you ever heard Mechanics? So my second song is Mechanics by Megadeth. Now, what this is the original Four Horsemen. When Dave Mustaine was in Metallica, Four Horsemen was called Mechanics, and it was about having sex, and it was twice as fast as Four Horsemen.
Right.
And when they kicked Dave Mustaine, another crazy frontman, out of Metallica, because why wouldn't you? He was fucking loose motherfucker. But he said, fuck this, I'm keeping this song and I'm gonna be faster. And it was on their first album, Mechanics. And to me, it was like, it introduced me to Megadeth. Now, I'd heard Megadeth like through Last Action Hero with Angry Again and Go to Hell on fucking Bill and Ted. But this was like, holy shit, and getting into the lore of Mustaine and Metallica and the songs that he writ on Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. And it just opened up a whole nother side of metal to me. Because again, when you're little, you get into bands, you know what I mean? But I think this took me to the next level of just getting into another band again. And I just delved into Megadeth. And it's not my favorite Megadeth song by far, but it's something that kind of like, holy shit.
Really sparked your attention. Yeah.
Oh, it had so much, again, it's rabbit hole potential. It was familiar through Metallica, and it was lore. It was like I was cracking the code, and then I would be looking back on Metallica albums and seeing Dave Mustaine's name on it, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, love that song. But yeah, sent me on a rabbit hole.
Fuck yeah.
It's hard to beat fucking thrash metal, man. Good thrash is fucking probably one of the best genres, man. Thrash sort of crossover. Definitely. Hard to beat. But also that reference to Last Action Hero, what a fucking movie.
Oh, dude. That'll be on if we do movies again or Annie or something. You can't not rep that. How good.
One of his best, I reckon.
It's up there.
Yeah. And it's a complete parody of action movie. That's what's good. It's tongue in cheek. It's playing with itself and taking it to 11, you know? So good. So good.
All right. Benny, what do you got for number 2 for us?
Well, fucking, I guess I'll get it out of the way. Pantera.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, look, and this is one of those bands I think we were talking about pre-show, like, can't narrow down one song, you know. The best I could do was pretty much narrow down a song per album. So, you know, obviously I'll just briefly skim over them quickly, but like you get Cowboys from Hell as a kid. You're listening to that and you're thinking, fuck, this song's tough. And then you listen to then you get, you know, a few tracks deep and you're moshing in your lounge room to the Domination breakdown. So Domination was probably one that stood out for me as one of the first Pantera songs I heard, just purely for that breakdown. Also, still to this day, if I want to get pumped up, you know, I put on that, I think it's 93 Live in Moscow or something on YouTube.
Oh,
and
man.
It's a fucking wicked video. Like,
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's insane.
Monsters of Moscow.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, they opened for Metallica. Man, and
right.
I think Domination is the video, at least on they play it anyway, and fuck, dude, like, and they're watching Russian soldiers just fucking smack people in the crowd. Epic song, epic album,
epic song, and that's probably one of the best fucking live film clips getting around to this day, I reckon. But yeah, that'd be my pick for Pantera for all off Cowboys from Hell anyway. And then, you know, you go on to Volga, Mouth of War is probably my favorite song there, hard to beat.
Yep.
Strength Beyond Strength off Far Beyond Driven. And then, yeah, Suicide Note Part 2 off Trendkill. I couldn't really narrow a favorite song on Reinventing. I think that's a highly underrated album, but I couldn't really fucking...
Cat Scratch Fever. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's sort of, Pantera in a nutshell. They've been pretty influential in my life, musically. Yeah.
And that 101 Proof album as well.
That's one that'd have to be.
That's my first album. That's the first Pantera album I got.
Yeah, right.
So that was an intro into, and that's when I kind of went down the rabbit hole of their different albums. But 101 Proof.
Yeah. That's a pretty heavy introduction to Pantera. That live album, you know. Can you hear Rex's fucking bass? Answer me.
That's how you get into Phil. You're like, who is this dude on the stage? Like, let me hear you fucking scream like the fuck right now. We're filming for the video. And he's like hyping the crowd and shit. And every song's a heavier version of the album version as well. I'll jump on it too. I could go a whole Pantera episode.
Oh, look, we could do a Pantera episode for sure. But yeah, look, they're essentially my songs in a nutshell for Pantera.
Fuck yeah. So out of those, Domination, you
oh man. Yeah, see, I can't fucking I don't know. I do not know, man. Like, I was trying to think, is it my top pick? Or is it Mouth for War? Is it Strength Beyond Strength? Like, I can't even pick my favorite Pantera album.
Yeah.
Like those first four, like Cowboys, Vulgar, Far Beyond, and Trendkill. I probably had to take one away, maybe Cowboys, but the other three, I find it hard to separate.
Yeah.
If someone said to you, "Hey, I've never heard Pantera before. Give me one song," how would you fucking get them into Pantera? You'd nearly need to know. For me, it's like, okay, what do you listen to now? What do you like now? And I could kind of boot them in that way. But if you could pick one song that's like,
man, and it's probably not even a song that I've picked. It's probably just the Great Southern Trendkill.
Yeah.
Like the opening bit where Phil's just screaming his head off. That's a pretty intense introduction to Pantera.
You're either going to love it or hate it.
Or something. Yeah. I'd probably go like Walk or fucking Hostile or something like that, because I feel like you would get a vibe from them. But then if Walk feels like you'd be selling them as a basic band or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably their most basic song, but one of their most recognized songs too, though, isn't it? So
yeah. It's a good live one to be around because everyone gets together for Walk and it goes.
So if someone had never listened to it, I'd probably throw them into Cowboys.
Maybe
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah, because
I think it's definitely my favorite album.
I mean, if someone's along that,
if they're into
heavy
thrash,
riff, if they're into the good riffs, not that they don't have any good riffs, but it's not as heavy as some of the other songs. I think it's more of a wouldn't say mainstream song, but it'd be one of their more introductory ones, I think, to somebody that's never heard of them before.
Yeah,
in my
Cowboys
opinion.
is a good one because it feels like a Vulgar song, but earlier, if you know what I mean. Like it's kind of like got the elements of Vulgar, but I think Domination as well is probably a good one.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and I think for like a lot of metal bands, they start off really heavy, and then as they get popular, the heaviness drops away and they become a bit more mainstream or a bit more, radio friendly. Whereas Pantera, I feel like they got heavier every album, just to sort of say fuck you to the industry, which is pretty cool.
Very punk. Yeah. All right, who are we up to now? Is it?
It's you, Vinno.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I had to think then because we're back to Pantera talk. No, number two. Yeah,
we're up to 2.
All right, I got shown these guys a few years ago when I was playing in a punk band just before I came on to play with Taken by Force. So I was in a band with some boys from around here. We'd written a few songs and were ready to record and whatnot, but I was at the stage where I was really trying to push my limits with drumming to get quicker and a bit more technical to take. So for the next lot of recording, we could, I could sort of branch out a little bit more and I got shown these guys by my housemate at the time, who was also a guitarist, Ollie, who was a big influence, I suppose, in some of the music that I was listening to at the time because of that. And there's a few bands on here and a few songs that he gave me throughout that period that really opened my eyes and was an introduction to a couple of the bands. But just the technicality of this song in particular, it's insanely quick, technical, a few minutes of just in your face, fast, but a really, really catchy song as well. So this song is War's Not Over, I Just Found the Flag by Forest. I think they're French punk band, but if you get the chance, have a listen to that song, because it starts off a bit slow, but it's technical, and then it's just fucking flat out. And the drumming in particular was what I was listening to, and some of the shit that those guys do is just insane. So
is it in French?
No, it's in English. I think they're French. I haven't looked into it, and I might do that if we have a break or something like that. But I remember him saying that. But no, the singing is in English. But very, very talented guys, and that whole album is actually really good. It's a different style of punk to what I had originally listened to, and moved away very much from the hardcore style of things. It's very melodic, but
so it's melodic punk, right?
Yeah. It's almost, I mean, talking about thrash, it's so fast, but very melodic with the guitar tones and all those sorts of things. So yeah, if you get the chance, give that a listen, because it's it'll be an eye opener. But that led me down to listening to them a fair bit more. Can't say that I'm a huge fan of all of their stuff. Some of it's just a bit too out there, I suppose. When I say out there, just the avenues that they go down with some of their song structure and whatnot is just sort of not my cup of tea, but very, very talented, and yeah, good music. So yeah. Alrighty. Dave.
What are we? Oh, three now, isn't it?
Mate. Number 3.
Yeah. What Pantera song?
So this is off my favorite Pantera album. Now look, actually, so I had heard this song from a jukebox, all right, when I went back to Ireland. Someone had played this song.
Cotton Eye Joe.
And I was like, is that what? And it was Cotton Eye Joe. And I've told this story before. No, I was listening to it, and it just kicked straight in, and it's I was like, is that fucking Derek and the Dominoes or Jimi Hendrix or something? Because I was listening to it, and I was like, this is fucking banging. And I was like, who the fuck is this? And my mate was like, are you serious? Because I'd been gone from Ireland for a long time, and I probably should have known anyway, because he'd been dead, I think. But it's Rory Gallagher, and the song is Tattooed Lady. And he is basically like an Irish guitarist that's like a blues rock, like I said, Derek and the Dominoes, Cream, Hendrix, but also with the Doors kind of keyboards. And it was this song, Tattooed Lady, spun me out. I'd never heard anything about it. And then I was like, he's an Irish fucking dude. I didn't know we could do this shit. You know, I mean,
we're talented.
He was so fucking good, man. And unbelievable guitarist, singer. And yeah, so that led me down to listening to him, and he's got albums and albums and albums. But this particular song, this version of Tattooed Lady, if you're going to get into Rory Gallagher, listen to Tattooed Lady live Irish tour 1974. It's on Spotify, this track. So it is a live track that's well known, and it's so good, and it's straight into it. As I said, great fucking solos in there. Great fucking rock and roll, fucking blues, fucking fusion, unbelievable. And then the fucking keyboards come in. I'm a sucker for keyboards when they throw that at me. In the middle of nowhere, like Doors keyboards. Love it. Check it out. Have you ever heard of Rory Gallagher?
No. I'm going to by the end of the week, though.
Check it out, because if you like that style, like that kind of fucking Hendrixy, Eric Clapton-y shit, it's just more of that. Yeah. It's just more of that. But yeah, it's cool. Sonically very different.
Yeah, sweet. I'm definitely going to check that one out. I don't mind that, you know, when I'm mowing and throw the headsets on and shit, just cruising around, listening to chill music like Clapton, and I was cranking Dire Straits actually this week while I was fucking mowing. So yeah, love it.
Oh, you mentioned them. All right.
Alrighty.
Be patient. We'll get into them.
Bit of Mark Knopfler.
Oh, dude.
Fuck. Actually, was the reason I started listening to him was because of the new Parkway Drive, one of the songs off their latest release.
Dire Straits. Is Parkway Drive got you into Dire Straits?
No. I'd listened to Dire Straits prior.
Oh,
but it was one of their songs.
Band right now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Stadium, right? No, it was
came
on
up together.
the guitar tone. I'll have a look for what song it was, what Parkway Drive song, but it instantly the guitar tone, when it was a solo that's about midway through the song, the tone in that sounds fucking eerily exactly like the guitar tone that he has specifically in Brothers in Arms.
Yeah, right.
And just that solo itself, like it just triggered me, and I went, "Fuck, that does sound like to me." And that's what
that's crazy. Yeah, that shows you how far you know, Parkway have you know, come. You know, they've come a long way from their roots, and now that, yeah, like you said, they're a stadium rock band now. And I must say, I haven't really listened to them for a long time, but if they're reminding you of Dire Straits, it kind of shows you where they're at.
Back in the 70s now.
It's
right, we're Parkway Drive. We're
gonna do covers.
And then the man is right up to the microphone.
The whole song itself.
Imagine how good it would be. Knopfler could pass the torch.
The Byron Bay Knopflers. But it's the whole song, and I'll have to find the fucking name of it now, because if I don't, yeah, the whole song is slow.
Yeah, right.
And completely out of. I was going to mention it when you said before about, you know, bands steering away from or getting more mainstream sort of thing, and it's very much. I wouldn't say that they're going mainstream. They're maturing and changing their sound. I don't know, more from a mainstream, but yeah, because
maybe like Lincoln Parkway Drive or something.
Darker Still is the song off their latest single release this year. Right. So, and I think, like, if you have, now that you've got that in your mind, when you hear that solo come through, pay attention to that guitar tone, and you'll, it's, you know, not exact, but instantly it triggered me to think, fuck, that sounds like yeah, Brothers in Arms.
I'll have to get you to send me a message with that later, because I've got a memory like a sieve. I'll forget.
Yeah, I'll flick it through, definitely. But moving on, Benny, your number 3. What have you got for us?
Look, I'd have to go probably Hatebreed before Dishonor. Off Satisfaction is the Death of Desire. That song is tough as nails. Still holds up to this day. That whole album does. But for me, it probably stood out because, well, I probably heard, when did that come out? 97. It would be in year 8 at St. Peter's, Maitland. Probably had my Walkman or Discman on at the time or something, you know, and probably had a Victory Records sampler or some fucking thing. Come across that song and it just blew my mind, man, because obviously at that stage I was in primary school I was into metal. High school I got into hardcore probably in 96, but like hardcore was a bit tamer than what Hatebreed were at the time, so I was listening to like bands like Agnostic Front, Australian bands like FMD and Toe to Toe and stuff like that. So that was my idea of hardcore. So when Hatebreed come along and I discovered them, I was like, fuck, this is the heaviest shit I've ever heard. Even though I was listening to Pantera and Slayer and stuff in the past.
Yep.
Hatebreed, this song by Hatebreed and this album was the heaviest shit I'd ever heard, just because it was so tough and just so in your face and just full of, I don't know, it was just aggressive, I guess. And as a 13-year-old boy, testosterone raging through your body,
growing up in Maitland,
and growing up in Maitland, you just wanted to have
anyone angry.
Just wanted to mosh in the lounge room and tell mum to fuck off.
That's when music's at its most powerful, when it grabs you, isn't it? When you're in high school, you know, when it's the true soundtrack of your fucking life, like, and you're just fucking, remember, you just be listening to shit in your room and stuff, and on a school bus, wherever you were, wherever you could get the chance, fucking Discmans running out of batteries.
The batteries. But the best part about growing up in that era was, I mean, obviously people do playlists now with Spotify, but it's not the same, you know, when you were in your car or, you know, with your Walkman, you know, making up your little fucking mixtapes where you're just recording tracks and shit, you know. If I kept some of them now,
man, mixtapes are the shit. Like, that's how I used to get into music and get people into music. I used to make people Metallica mixes when I came to Australia. Metallica and Pantera mixes, I was just handing them out, and that's how I got into them.
I'm pretty sure you made me a mix that was just like 3/4 Metallica, maybe 1 or 2 tracks Pantera, and a couple of Megadeth, and I was like,
yeah. But that's all I was obsessed with. I felt like, well, people need to fucking listen to this shit. Because man, I loved it. But as well, with the Discman as well, you'd listen to full albums too, and you'd appreciate a whole body of work. Like, in an album, kind of had a feel to you, and you could kind of see the artists you like in different stages of their career, and man.
And I think people's attention spans have changed since then as well. You know, in the 90s as kids, you know, we were all, you know, like you said, you put your Discman on, put your headphones in, you'd listen to a whole album. Sometimes you'd listen to it over and over again. Whereas nowadays, I feel like this generation, their attention span's gone after 3 tracks.
Well, we're spoiled.
Hence why I think
we're spoiled for choice now, aren't we? Like, you look at Spotify, where we can get any song that you want that's uploaded there instantly. You know, they don't have to run the gauntlet of having to illegally download it anymore. I think that needs to come back so that they can appreciate things. Listen to me sound like a boomer. And
you're not being introduced organically to anything. You know what I mean? Because you're in an algorithm now, right?
That's right.
I mean, so they're just like, if you like this, you like this. You know, you're not getting that experience of someone saying, listen to this. Or hear, you know, the way they'd play songs when you'd be at gigs, and they'd play songs in between bands, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Or you'd hear a band you like cover something, and you'd go back and discover it that way. Or, it's just, it is less organic now, and I think you're right. It's spoiled for choice. You're no longer looking at an album's artwork and going, fuck, I'm going to listen to them. You know what I mean? It's just kind of coming your way.
Well, even flicking through that book that came with the album, you know, and reading the lyrics and with it, and seeing the photos.
Thing you did. You'd go through them. You'd look at the live photos that they had, like, especially if they're a hardcore band. You look at the live artwork.
Yep.
You're reading all the fucking lyrics so you can sing along. And then when you're getting into it, you're looking at fucking what bands they're into. So then that leads you down a rabbit hole as well, like who they're thanking. So then you're like, oh, fucking Hatebreed's fucking saying, you know, check out, you know, Death Threat or something like that. So you're like, okay, fuck. And then you find another band. And then I guess you start to learn about where they're recording at as well. You're looking at all those details. Whereas now you just listen to a song on Spotify and that's about it.
The experience isn't so much there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
When you're buying an album, it was like you were buying a brand. You were looking like, fuck, I want a T-shirt that looks like this album. You'd open up inside, you know, you'd be invested in it as a whole thing. It wouldn't just pop up. Nah. Listen to how old we are. Yeah. Kids don't know.
They don't. But yeah, Hatebreed.
Fuck yeah.
You know, this is your third then?
We're up to 3. So we might, once I knock this, we'll go for a quick pee break and the rest. And
Pizzle.
Yeah, it's always good to have a quick pee. You're getting old. Fucking bladders can't handle it as much. So I'm gonna mix it up again a little bit. This is an artist that I've mentioned before. It's going down or back into hip hop. It's an artist that I really like, and he's pretty controversial in a lot of his songs. But this song in particular, it was a series, part of a series. It was song 5 in the series. And the reason this one grabbed my attention is because of how aggressive it is talking to the younger generation and people within or caught in stereotypes. So it was more of an attention grabber for me because of the lyrical content, and he is fantastic in my opinion. That's Hopsin is who I'm talking about. Very underrated hip-hop artist in my opinion. Very controversial though at the same time. But I love his work. This song in particular, as I said, it was part of a series, and this one is the Ill Mind of Hopsin 5. So if you haven't heard Hopsin, definitely recommend going and having a listen. I have mentioned him before, but he's right up there in my opinion as far as hip-hop artists, lyrically, as well as his aggression and his songwriting ability, his cadence, everything. I really enjoy Hopsin.
I think how you brought up as well about not fitting into those stereotypes. He was someone who obviously embraced the older generation, because I think he was originally signed onto Eazy-E's record label.
That's one of of his other Ill Mind songs is basically having a crack at Eazy-E's ex-wife.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of issues there, and he's also kind of a product of Eminem as well. So, and that's another thing, that he wasn't really stereotypical, and he's got his style even, and being a skater and all that kind of stuff. Very, 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 very different. But the way he embraced online and had the concepts with the Ill Mind of Hopsin, and the way he did it was incredible. It was incredible. Yep.
And you know, each one of those songs is different in itself, but very powerful with the message. You know, that whatever it is he's portraying. But yeah, to this day, he's up there with one of mine. He's in my top 3 for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. So, what we might do? We haven't got Reese to press the music and do it for us, so we'll have to do a post edit.
So is this where I serenade you, is it?
This is where you've got to pretend
to do. Serenading, yeah. No. Like a serenading. I'll never say no to a serenading.
Absolutely not.
Dracula.
Yeah. Just put some Hetfield in there.
That's right.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to finish off our last 2. So stick with us. Welcome back from that quick piss break, guys. I did think about changing the song for that, but I just don't think I can bring myself to do it.
It's too classic now.
Benny probably doesn't know what song we're talking about, but
it's like it's got a Middle Eastern pan flutey vibe.
Yeah.
So good, so groovy. But we do an Egyptian dance to it. It's all very horrible. But yeah.
Go on, Vinno, take it away.
Like it's Dave that does the dances for it. He does his own choreography.
I do that. Yeah, it's an 80s rendition of an Egyptian folk dance. But yeah, or at least art. Yeah, you had to be there.
So before the break, we pumped through our choices for 1, 2, and 3. Before we get too far into
the 4
and 5s, Benny, you've got your own little company or business going. Is that correct? A shoe restoration.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that, mate.
Yeah, well, I think oh man, I can't even recall off the top of my head when I started it, but it was during COVID. I've been a bit of a shoe collector for a little while now.
You don't say.
Yeah, yeah. Collecting shoes is my thing. It's my vice. And yeah, just from working on my own pairs, with age they sort of deteriorate, and with wear and whatnot. So I was always looking for ways to best clean my shoes or to keep them looking as new as possible. So like whether that's finding painting the soles and all that sort of jazz and giving them a new lease on life. So I was doing that for myself, and then just being in shoe community pages and all that sort of jazz, I started posting up some of my stuff, some of my restorations on my own pairs, and then just kind of come from that, just naturally sort of progress with people just hitting me up to, hey man, can you clean my shoes, or what can you do to these ones, like, and the paint's all, faded off the soles, or, the leather parts have gone yellow and oxidized. Like, what can you do? Can you bring them back to life? So I thought, oh, look, I'll give it a crack. So I gave it a crack for a while and was doing shoes for people, just sort of more or less free of charge, just to get some experience and whatnot, and build something up. And then, yeah, look, it just snowballed. And to this day now, like probably a year and a half or so into it, or more, it's just I'm constantly busy. So between working a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, of a night time, I get in my little man cave and I'm painting or cleaning shoes and just doing that, man, on the side. It's a good little hobby. It keeps me busy, it keeps my mind occupied, and it's kind of rewarding as well, because sometimes you see some fucking thrashed pairs, they come my way, and generally speaking, like, the end result is like a massive makeover, massive turnaround from what they arrived as. And I've been pretty lucky, pretty blessed that for the work that I've done so far, I haven't had any complaints. Everyone's been super positive and really happy with it. So yeah, no, it's been good, man. Yeah, I can't complain. Like, pumping out the work. My name's getting out there, so people are hitting me up from all across Australia, man. I've even done pairs for people in, I think the furthest I've done is Switzerland. I think I did a pair for a guy in Switzerland as well, so he sent me a pair to do. But yeah, and then, like, my shoes of choice are that I collect myself are, the Asics range, like old school Asics and whatnot, Kayanos and Nimbuses and GTs and stuff like that, and Nike MX Plus, like TNs, different TN models and whatnot, and Air Max 1s. Yeah, so obviously a lot of my work is actually like TN related. There's a lot of I discovered that a lot of TN wear is a
pretty hard on the gear.
Oh, not so much hard on their shoes, but yeah, some of them are. But
yeah, running from the cops, mate. The only TN.
Running from the cops. No, like, I mean, a lot of collectors, like, it's a niche market, so there's a lot of TN collectors that like to tell a lot. Shoes pristine.
Well, a very famous philosopher actually once said that you can tell a lot about a person about their shoes. That was Forrest Gump. Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you all just bring them back to like the way you would restore stuff back to the way they were when they were brand new, or do you do any custom stuff?
Yeah, generally speaking, I try to restore them to their like factory finish, I guess. So like just brighten everything up. So obviously clean speaks for itself, but I might get a pair of dead stock shoes that have never been worn, but they might be 15 years old. So the white midsole section, it's probably all the paint's faded off and it's just kind of like a creamy browny yellow sort of color, or there's a bit of oxidization on some leather parts and whatnot, so I can just sort of deoxidize that. I can repaint the soles and whatnot that needs to be repainted, and generally speaking can get them looking pretty new again. But yeah, like, I have delved into some custom work as well. But yeah, look, custom stuff isn't really my forte. There are other people that do full custom jobs, I can do it to an extent, but I'm just not that creative.
But as well, collectors like the, you know, original shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? Sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah, look, I'm just on Instagram at Urban Shoe Restoration.
Urban Shoe Restoration. We might throw.
Jump on and have a sauce. But yeah, it's look, it's a good hobby. Like I said, keeps me out of trouble. And look, I fucking even got featured on on what was it, 7 News or whatever. They did a little interview on TN's a little while back, and they gave me a bit of a plug as well. So it's crazy to think just a little COVID side hustle sort of is starting to get a bit of momentum, you know.
That's awesome too, because there was a lot of side hustles going on. I mean, a lot of people were out of work and stuff like that. And I mean, candles for one, there was so many people getting into candle making and those sorts of things, and it was a very tough market because there were so many people doing it. So the fact that you've got that side hustle from the pandemic and it's still going and you're actually building it is awesome, man.
Well, that whole shoe thing is huge. So it just keeps getting big. I've seen a convention happen, and fucking like it's huge now. And I guess with all the trading that happens at these things, it would be a great idea to get in there and say, well, I can refurbish stuff, I can get it back, because you can make people a lot of fucking money if you can refurbish this shit back to its original thing. So just like with any collector stuff, I reckon. But I've just seen it explode the past fucking couple of years. It just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's not a great deal of people out there doing it either, like the restoration sort of side of it. So as far as I know, I think I'm the only person in Newcastle doing it. There's a couple of like bigger companies and whatnot in Sydney and Melbourne, like the Sneaker Laundry and stuff like that. But look, I think, generally speaking, just I think, like everything, word of mouth and the results speak for themselves, I guess. So people in the community start talking, friends referring friends. Oh, look, I got my pair done by Ben at Urban Shoe Restoration. Fucking suss him out. And like, I guess, man, my inbox is constantly fucking getting bombarded with messages. So, but then at the same time, I pride myself in being pretty open and honest with people as well. Whereas a lot of, I think other people would probably be like, fuck, we could restore that. It'll be $300 or whatever, whereas I'll see a pair and I'll be like, fuck, they're probably, I could do it. It could cost $300 and I could get them looking somewhat decent. But look, to be fair, it's probably not a pair I personally would spend the money on.
Yep.
So, so just, I think having that transparency helps as well.
Being able to draw the line.
Anyone off.
Yeah. We might have to start featuring some urban shoe restoration ads on the podcast.
Yeah, might be
the first ads. Apart from the,
and you can check them out on Instagram as well.
Yeah,
like the quality, it's right there. It's right in front of you.
Get on there and check out the photos and see the work that Benny does. And if you've got a pair of shoes, send them his way.
Chuck a link in the description down there, folks, as well, so you can just go down there and click it,
follow it, and get in contact. But anyway, moving on with the music. Dave, start us on the fours. What do you got for us?
This was going to be my last one, but I think I'll get it out of the way because we kind of touched on it a little bit, just a tiny little bit. We might have scratched on it. And this is
Ventura.
Brothers in Arms by the Dire Straits. Except, all right, so I love the Dire Straits for all the reasons we talked about. Mark Knopfler's finger picking technique, very special band. Like my dad played them all the time, so I loved it. But this Brothers in Arms isn't just Brothers in Arms off the album Brothers in Arms. This is from 19. Well, let me check it out.
Is this a live version?
I can't remember what year, but it was 70th birthday of Nelson Mandela. So it was a couple of years before he even got out of prison, and it's a live rendition of it, and the wind's blowing and shit like that. And right before it, he says Brothers in Arms was he said the album was made illegal or banned in South Africa, which he was proud to say. And then he played the song, and it's so epic. It's so epic. And it's just such a special version of it. The wind's blowing his fucking hair and shit. And then at a very special moment at the end, right? And this is what I love about it. it's the last like tone, you know the way he lets that tone ring at the end of it, and he goes to say something into the mic and he grabs it and you just see him think for a second and then he steps back away from it, like he didn't want, like whatever he wanted to say, he's like, I don't want to ruin this moment. So he just stood back. It was just, and it was so much more powerful the way he did it and not saying it, and then if he'd have said anything, it's just unreal. Then he just finished the song with that last tone. Unreal. Guitar player, we're talking about how good he was earlier as a guitar player, and if this song didn't prove it, he had fucking Eric Clapton as his rhythm guitarist in playing on stage with him. That's how good he is. And
it's a beautiful
unreal
song
version of it. Oh, dude,
it's just a beautiful song in general. But yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that version.
Fools to make war on our brothers in arms. Yeah, unreal song.
Yep, very powerful for a lot of reasons.
Very, very Parkway Drive-esque.
It is.
See where they got that. See where they got their sound from.
If you listen to that Parkway Drive song, you'll hear that tone. You can see where Parkway have got that influence from.
I'm pretty keen to suss it out, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, you might come back to me and go, mate, I just can't pick it. But
so what are you talking about? Yeah.
What are you talking about,
Vinno, get off the piss. But no, like when the start of that solo comes in, you'll go, that sounds Brothers in Arms for sure. So that's awesome.
Cool. It is a unique tone.
It is.
Because it's pure his sound, but it's there's so little music in that song. It's just a lot of him being very subtle with that little riff and bringing it back in and out, and unreal.
I think that's the powerfulness of that song, though. Less is more in a sense, and it's if there was too much in there, it would take away from the message that he's portraying.
Yeah, 100%.
He pulls you in, builds you up, gives you that crazy little area, the chaotic bit, but then he brings you back down. Yeah. Epic song. Yeah.
I actually didn't realise that Eric Clapton played rhythm guitar for Dire Straits. Oh, well, at that.
Oh, so if you look at that, it even pans to Eric Clapton, and he must be on a big screen as well for the audience, because everyone's like, "Oh, fucking Eric Clapton."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, imagine, like that's how much you respect fucking Knopfler, and he's just making it. He just makes it so easy, Oh,
man. Two icons in their own right.
Yeah,
right.
Stage.
I mean, who wasn't sort of, I don't know. Yeah, same with you guys, I guess. I grew up listening to them because that's, in our era, you grew up listening to what your parents listened to, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So and I guess most of our generation probably grew up listening to a bit of Dire Straits or a bit of Eric Clapton at some point in their early lives.
Yeah.
They're the cool rocking it dad bands, you know what I mean? Dire Straits, gotta have it.
You can't not like them. If you don't like them, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Vinno loves the get the fuck
out.
Get the fuck out.
All right, Benny, what have you got for us for number 4?
Ooh, I'm just going through my list. I don't know which one to pick.
You got 14 to pick from, don't you?
Oh man, 14 or 15
well, you'd have
20.
11 now.
Look, I'll go. I'll just go in chronological order of my notes. I'll go Crowbar. Existence is Punishment. Tough song. Simple but effective. Hits you right in the feels, just from the lyrics to just the mood and the angst of the song. All the instruments, Kirk's voice. The film clip's great as well. Pretty sure it was on Beavis and Butthead or something as well, which was pretty cool. But yeah, just a great song, Crowbar. Look, if you haven't sussed out Crowbar before, definitely check Existence is Punishment out. It's up there with one of their best. But yeah.
Fuck yeah. So when you
check it out,
you heard that and you instantly just went, fuck yeah, this is dragging me in. Like, it was Seal the Deal for you, or was that not the first you heard been listening to them before?
Oh, look, I think that was one of the first songs I heard. Probably probably the first song I heard was maybe All I Had I Gave. But Existence is Punishment, probably, yeah, for music wise, what we were talking about before, I guess it just sort of hit me like a ton of bricks on first impression. Yep. And it's probably stuck with me ever since that, and I still get that vibe. It still resonates with me now. Yeah, as soon as that comes on, it fucking amps me up. And just the lyrics, his lyrics, some of his lyrics are pretty dark and emotional, but yeah, like, I mean, fuck, what's one of the lines? Like, I found the truth inside myself, but I'm still doing time. Yeah, this world is hard, it's cold, it's agony. It's, I think that's pretty honest. Everyone honest, and everyone can sort of relate to it at some point of their lives.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah.
And I think that's special, isn't it? That the first song you hear from a band you end up loving has a little special part in your heart, doesn't it? Just the first song you hear them.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, definitely. And I think, there's probably been bands in the past that you have that one song and it's fucking, it hits you right in the, I don't know, hits you like a ton of bricks. But then you might find the rest of the album or the artist itself you're not a fan of, but it's just that one fucking song.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Crowbar, look, I'm not a massive fan of their whole catalog. I'm definitely a fan, but that song in particular,
fuck yeah,
just like, yeah, fucking still hits me to this day.
Nice.
Yeah, classic.
All right. Number 4, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
So this is another one of those songs I was referring to earlier about when I was trying to push my limits with drumming, and these guys are absolute freaks. The band is Protest the Hero, and if you've heard any of their songs, technicality, speed, just they're freaks. They had been playing with each, like, in bands, I think from when they were 10 or something like that, very early on, and just it's not everyone's cup of tea because they do go on some very, very strange tangents in some of their songs. It's not a standard structure by any stretch of the imagination. But if you can appreciate what's going on musically, and some of their songs, yeah, are really catchy. I find with a lot of people that do or have listened to Protest the Hero, they can't listen to a whole album all the way through. They'll have songs that they like. But the song in particular that really grabs my attention every time, it's one of my favorites of theirs, is called Mist. And from the very start, it's a punch in the face. It's fast, it's technical. The song is about them going to, or references their first time they went to Newfoundland and played a gig there. And the song is about Newfoundland being their second home sort of thing. And it tells the story of when they went there the first time and played, and just the appreciation that people had for bands going there, because it never happens. But it's a crazy song musically, and then it's got a really cool story with it as well. But what grabbed my attention specifically is that intro, because it's just, they do have a lot of songs that are similar in the sense that from the get-go it's just in your face, fast, technical. This one's just one of my favorites when it comes down to those ones. So, and it is one that really grabbed my attention. So if you haven't heard Protest the Hero before, do give them a go. Don't just listen to one song, listen to a few, or even a whole album if you want to, because it's definitely very impressive, and once you can appreciate it, you'll become a fan instantly. They are really, really good.
Yeah, cool. I can't say I've really ever listened to much of them, to be fair.
Yeah, it's
I'll have to investigate too.
Give it a go, and let me know as well what you think of it, because I'd be interested. I was like, Ollie showed me these guys as well. I had listened to them a little bit before, but hadn't paid too much attention. But he said, if you can play like this, you can fucking play anything. And there's no way I had enough hours in the day to fucking practice to get to that level for what we were wanting to do. But the music that they, right? Yeah, the music that they write, it's definitely very much so inspirational. But for those guys being together and working together so well, it just sounds so natural. Is, I think, the thing that stands out with them. Like we were talking about before with songwriting and those sorts of things. I just get the impression that a writing session for those guys would just be very natural. I could be very much wrong, but it just comes across.
What would be some bands that kind of are from the same leaf as them?
They're almost
Parkway Drive.
Dire Straits.
Almost like almost like the perfect, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail.
I can't think of any bands straight off the top of my head that are like them. They're heavy. They're a metal / punky style. Yeah. They're almost an entity into themselves, mate.
Yeah, right.
It's,
all right, fuck yeah. Now I'm mad intrigued.
Yeah, if you have a listen to them and you think of any bands that off the top of your head that I like them, let me know, because I'd be keen to have a listen. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
Anyway, moving on. Number 5. So we're on to the last ones, boys.
Yeah, last ones now. Well, this one was gonna be my number 4. But I thought I'd get the Dire Straits one. I'd switch them around because it was close to the last one. But this, and as well, this one's a hip hop one. Now, I wanted to put, because it's what the fuck songs, wow songs, ones that kind of shocked you. I wanted to put a real diss track on it, because the diss tracks always fucking get me. Fuck, I love diss tracks. But this one was, at the time, I thought the most lethal diss track, because there'd been no Vaseline, there'd been all the big ones, right? They'd been hit 'em up, right? And then this was an Eminem diss track, and it was against Everlast, and it was right at Everlast dissed him on a song. It was real countryish and stuff. So Eminem came and smashed him, and it by a song called Quitter. And it was about him quitting rap to be a country guy, and just destroyed him. And it was very somber and visceral. And I was like, oh my God, he is going in on him, having a heart attack. He's going in on him, going crazy on him, right? Talking about his people and shit, and his friends and everything. And then at the end, he said, that's why I fucked your mother, you fat motherfucker. And then it goes straight into the second diss song in one that was a cover of Hit 'Em Up by Tupac. But him and D12, who he got on, similar to how Tupac got the Outlaws on to diss Biggie, and they basically, bar for bar, matched Tupac's song and the Outlaws, but changed the lyrics. So it was the same cadence and it's the same flow, but they changed it all to be about Everlast completely. And the way that, if you ever get a chance, listen to one of the best diss tracks ever by Tupac. It's Hit 'Em Up. Most people probably know it. But if you then listen to Eminem's Quitter, Hit 'Em Up, side by side, you're like, how the fuck's Eminem doing this? Unreal. And it destroyed him. It destroyed his career for a while until he got into that La Coca Nostra stuff and got real cool again. But fuck, he destroyed him.
And it wouldn't be a song pick without you having Eminem.
That's what I mean. I was going to throw Eminem in there.
I can't even speak properly.
Eminem.
Another one. That probably, if you'd have caught me at the age of 5, Manam might have been in this list.
Yeah,
changed my life.
Certified banger.
It was a banger, yeah.
But yeah, fuck. Yeah, right. I never knew that either. I'll have to check them out. I never knew that Eminem did a diss track on fucking Everlast.
Dude. He did a couple, but that's the one that he just destroyed him, scorched earth. Because again, he does the diss track, and then in the middle of it, he switches into Tupac, and he does a whole other song, and D12 jump in on the songs.
Yeah.
But what I like about it too is it feels like you're getting a little, oh, this is behind the music shit. This is different. That's what I love about hip hop. It's competitive. The sport. It's almost a sport inside of music, and fuck, I love it. Yeah. You get me going. Yeah. But I love it. There's so many diss tracks I could have put in there, but I thought I'd give Eminem the nod again.
We could almost do an episode on your favorite diss tracks of all time.
Yeah. Man, so good.
Although, it'd be kind of hard to fucking compete with Eminem on a diss track anyway, wouldn't it? Like, I don't know too many hip hop artists that have come up trumps.
Well, not against Eminem, but I think there's been some heavy ones. Like Ice Cube's one of the greatest diss track writers there is, not just because of No Vaseline and because of King of the Hill, which is against Cypress Hill. Because Cypress Hill accused him of fucking stealing their throw your set in the air with throw your neighborhood in the air. Anyway, but what happened? He released King of the Hill on them, but while it was getting mixed, one of their producers leaked it to Cypress Hill, and they got their producer to get the instrumental from it, and they made a track called Cube Killer and released it before Ice Cube. So it looked like Ice Cube released his diss track after it, and it didn't make sense. They'd already ripped him up on it. Oh man, there's so much lore, and that ended up in Ice Cube getting beaten up and his chain took by Cypress Hill fans, because Cypress Hill run LA. Like, the fucking Mexicans run LA. They fucking do. None of this Compton shit. But fucking, and they wearing it in the video, his West Side fucking chain in a video. Fucking scary. Fucking scary how deep it gets.
Mental.
Whole culture.
Yeah. But anyway, Eminem, Quitter, hit him up. That's not even on an album, I don't think. You might have to YouTube that one, folks.
Completely off, or not off topic, but fucking when I was doing this list, I was had like a funny sort of hip hop one that I was going to put in. It was I don't know. Do you guys watch Workaholics?
I've seen a couple of seasons of them. Yeah,
I'd say a couple of episodes.
Yeah, right. Some of the earlier stuff, there was like fucking they dressed up as wizards and they're sort of got a couple of raps and whatnot. But I only found out the other day that they fucking back in like 2009 or whatever released a whole album of them dressed up as wizards, and there's like videos of them on YouTube. But there's this track that they do called Straight Outta Mordor, which is fucking hilarious. Suss it out. Suss the video on YouTube.
A bonus.
It's a good watch.
A bonus track.
Bonus track. Yeah.
Straight Outta Mordor.
Straight Outta Mordor. And I used to love Workaholics. Yeah, I can vaguely remember them in their living room as wizards. And didn't they go to a? Didn't Adam want to become a bodybuilder? And
that's the episode, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then he comes back and joins the band again. Oh man, he's got like the Nate Dogg flow, Adam. It's so good. Yeah,
it's cool, man. You'll get a laugh out of it anyway.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to go watch it now. The whole thing. All right, Benny.
Song 5, eh?
Number 5, mate. What do you got for us?
Oh, man, I'm gonna have to go just pure nostalgia. A band from Maitland or Newcastle. Found My Direction, FMD. A song called Out of Hand. It was off a 7-inch called Before Their Time. This came out when I was in high school. Fucking classic. Just a great hardcore song. It still stands to the test of time to this day and age. And by local dudes that we all sort of knew. Mm-hmm. The reason it stands out for me, it's probably not FMD's best song, but it's definitely up there. But this was sort of listening to with all your friends at high school. Then that translated to getting to 18, where you get to that stage where you're pre-drinking before you go out and all that sort of stuff. And this track always went on prior to going out. You'd have you'd have 10 dudes moshing around the living room to FMD, Out of Hand. So that's the reason I picked this song. Not because it's their best song, but just because it brings back, you know, a lot of memories, you know, a lot of good times.
Yep.
From, you know, your high school days to your early adolescent years, just partying, moshing, singing along with your friends, being drunk and just having a good time.
Jaeger Train.
Jaeger Train was in full force. Toot toot.
Hey, that's good. And then as well, supporting local artists as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they were sort of guys that we all looked up to coming through as the next generation of Newcastle hardcore. So, yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got stories of songs that they could relate to in their early adolescent years that used to pump them up with their friends. And it was just a song that, you know, everyone would get drunk, you'd be moshing, you'd be arm in arm, just belting out the lyrics together, you know? It was just that sort of anthem for us, yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Good one. Big number 5.
Well, I was wondering why you didn't do Illmind Hobson. Was it Illmind Hobson 5 for your 5th one? It would have just been, perfect.
It's numerically it's down as number 5.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to mix it up a bit because otherwise I've just thought I'd just throw it in the middle, change things around.
I dig it.
Yeah. This one would have. Are you doing Shaggy now, Vinno?
Mate, if anyone's going to have Shaggy on there, I think it's going to be Dave.
Oh, man.
He does the best impression. For anyone that doesn't know, Dave can do a fucking unreal Shaggy impression.
It's pretty fucking spot on. That's one of my most clearest memories from Vinno's Buck show, I think, or was you doing Shaggy impersonations.
It's the same as my Zoidberg impression. Yeah, funnily enough. But yeah, I won't be doing it. I'm not. If this was a beer night and not a lemon tea night, Shaggy will happen.
We'll get him to do it on this show one day.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
In-person episode.
I remember that night as well. I was ruined. Doing Shaggy all night will shag your fucking throat. It will.
The best part was you rapping and then hyping yourself up.
Oh God.
Yeah,
we didn't have to say a thing.
Well, it was like I was back. It was with the lads, you know, because for me, it's a little get out of town job for the night, you know, so I'm let loose. So yeah, I'm fucking cutting freestyles out the back of the cry.
Right, you would do.
That's the cry table, yeah.
And then there was fucking wasn't there like a fucking fake bull ride thing? Yeah.
That's right. There was the bull. I fell off the bull and I had to take my shoes off and I forgot that I'd have me missus's stripy socks on. But a night, you know, you just pack and I was like, fuck, I've got stripy socks. Oh man, it was not cool. The hillbillies did not dig it. Not one bit.
We enjoyed it though. Fuck them.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, that's all that mattered, the lads. But yeah.
All right. I got a few to choose from here.
You haven't given your fifth one.
I haven't, not yet. Yeah. So I've got a few to choose from here. Sort of in the same predicament as probably what we all are with a choice of songs. This is going from so this is a song that I heard this off this album. Now, I already listened to this band. The band is Ghost Inside. I loved these guys. They were heavy, sort of straight up at the time. Had some really cool riffs. Really liked the vocals and the lyrics as well. And then this album came out. This song's off Returners. And I listened to the whole album at the time and then sort of put it to the side. But then it was a couple of years later when I was listening to it again, and it related to me in a whole different way, this whole album. The song in particular is Downbeat. And it's basically a song about survival for depression and your mental state and moving forward and acknowledging, yes, that there is, you know, the demon sort of inside your head, and but not succumbing to it and pushing forward, and it's almost a call to strength sort of thing. But Downbeat was very stood out on that album along with a couple of other songs, but Downbeat in particular because we'd lost a good friend around the time, and it sort of, the reason why it stuck out or stood out for me is because I'd listened to the album, didn't pay too much attention to it because I hadn't had any first-hand experiences in that topic, so to speak. But when I listened to the album back a few years later and I really paid attention to it, and Downbeat stood out, and I just went, oh, fuck. You know, it was one of those almost a gotcha moment. Or
music's therapeutic, mate.
It is. It is.
Help you, yeah.
Yeah, and that whole album I found was that.
Yeah.
Chrono off that album is another song that we talk about pump up songs or songs, you know, that we can just listen to and blast and love it every time. That is definitely a song that's a very much a sing along chant type song. It's pretty powerful the way that it's written. So yeah, I didn't originally have it on my list, and then I had done some adjustments for that reason. That I just went, how the fuck did I forget that? But still to this day, I can listen to that song and it takes me back instantly, and it's very humbling in that sense, and reminds me of that second time that I listened to it and went, yeah, it's almost a hindsight moment. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
I'll check that out for sure.
Good album.
It is. Yeah. I loved the two that they did. Was it the two or the album they did prior? I really loved it, man. Fury and the Fallen Ones.
That's probably their best album, I reckon.
Yeah, like for me, it's a toss up between that and Returners. Actually, you know, I'd have to agree with you. Fury and the Fallen Ones, just for like Faith of Forgiveness. Is I think my favorite song off that album. And it's
that is a cracker.
Yeah, Lion Walk, Blue and Gold, like it's just an album full of fucking unreal songs. And then Returners after that, and you can see them mature a lot too between those two albums.
And they're still going today, like after, you know, that horrific accident and, you know, the drummer losing his leg, and so it's pretty inspirational to know that, you know, he's still playing the drums in the band, and they still pursue their dreams.
Drummers, hey. Can't stop fucking drummers. Arms, legs, they'll play. They'll find a way to hit. Yeah.
But so Dave, I don't know if you know the backstory with them. They were on tour and had a bus accident and a few people died, but yeah. So he lost
man, it's pretty mental.
Leg, and they didn't play for 2 years?
It was a while.
Yeah, so while they were rehabbing and while he was learning to play, because it's his right leg, isn't it? That he's lost.
So how did he have to hook it up to his left?
I saw a video recently. So it's his legs amputated from the knee down. So yeah, I saw him moving it. Yeah. So I don't know whether he's got something on there to do it, or whether he's learnt to kick single foot.
It's a very specific sort of setup for him, but I think fucking doing double kicks and stuff would be hard enough as it is, let alone like trying to relearn it and retrain your leg that's been amputated, you know. I can't imagine how hard it would be to retrain that fucking right leg to hit in time and whatnot, and surely you wouldn't have the same amount of function as you would have with the full leg, so it'd be fucking...
Well, you get a lot of flow there again, right? You get a lot of flow there from rocking.
Fuck yeah. 2 years that's fucking pretty quick. You know what I mean? Wow. And the devastating trauma of being in something like that, I'd imagine it'd be, you know, devastating regardless. Be hard to get back and
do it.
No, I'll have to check him out now. That's awesome.
So I'd start from Fury and the Fallen Ones and work your way through, and you'll see there's been massive, well, not a massive, but there's been a change in their style very much so, and maturing, I suppose, and branching out. But yeah, anyway, That's all our number 5s. We're probably going to have to do a second one of this just so that Benny can get through his 14 and you'll rock up to that one with another 30 or
and have Reese on as well, because he's also part of that journey when you were on together as well. So maybe that'll pull out a couple more of them stories.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like there was a period there where Reese and I were living together, and Vinno was over all the time, as were all the boys. So there was always like fucking music blasting and the same old songs on repeat. So,
there's a lot of Lionheart around that time too, wasn't there?
Would have been a bit of Lionheart. There would have been a lot of Terror and Hatebreed. Bury Your Dead at the time as well.
Kill Switch. Yeah, there was a lot. I think every pre-drinks Last Serenade got thrown on by Benny at some stage.
Classic.
Everyone has those songs that as soon as they're drunk, they're like, we got to play this.
Yeah, man. A song
and
that
like you're saying, arm in arm, lads.
Yeah.
Usually as we're trying to scoot.
Regular.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We'd have one last song while we were trying to scoot Reese into the taxi because he was always the last one there. And
yeah. Man.
He might show up here soon. He might.
He might. He might. Reese will pop in a minute and be like, fuck. Sorry, boys, I'm just been making my bed.
10 o'clock, wasn't it? 10 o'clock?
There was one night where we were fucking pre-drinking, we were getting ready to go into town, and it came to that point of time, that point in the night where it was time to get a taxi, head into town, and Reese fucking putting his bed together. That was the time to fucking make the bed, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember the old Magna being dead on the front lawn a few times, and
that fucking Magna,
mate,
she went through a bit. Do you remember his Magna he had, Dave?
Is it green?
No, the white one.
No,
he had a white one. He used to fucking. There was all these holes in the roof liner where Vinno just used to get his drumsticks and just fucking smash his roof with them. We'd get in the car, he'd be driving around, and everyone would have, fucking drumsticks or knives or whatever and just be smashing his roof. He had it parked at our house, and where we lived, we were on a bit of a slope, bit of a hill. And we had a balcony. And anyway, Vinno's like jumping off and jumping onto his car and pretending to basically fucking wrestle his car. He was like doing WWF moves and all that sort of shit. The people's elbow and stuff like that. Anyway, Vinno just fucking had no respect for his car, no regard. Like, it was fucked. We held the horn on. The horn was fucked.
That was Lucas.
Anyway, one night we got home from town, and I think it was Jordan, maybe myself and Lucas, or I can't remember. That
was the night that Lucas drove it home and held the horn from
right, yeah.
Cooks Hill all the way to Katara.
All the way through there. But, we pulled up, Vinno's crashed out. And we thought it'd be funny to rip out all the neighbours' plants and put them all on top of his car. So he just had like this white Magna with just a sea of green on top of it. Anyway, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Vinno was fucking pissed. He was fucking pissed.
I still don't know why. I still think it was because I wasn't involved in it, and
maybe you felt a bit left out.
I heard this story about him driving from Cooks Hill and blowing the horn, and because they went through the housing commission as well, and were just like abusing people with the horn on the whole way. And when I woke up in the morning, I heard the story and then walked out and saw the car. I think a little bit was like, motherfuckers. I'm going to be angry about something, so I'm going to be angry about the car.
Good times.
Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Benny, thanks heaps for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure to have you on and having a chat with you.
I appreciate it, boys.
Yeah, it's nice seeing you again, brother.
Yeah, good to see you, man. It's been a while.
And
I'll have you on again when Reese is back.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we said before, guys, get on there and check out Benny's his business.
What's the
on
Instagram page again?
Urban Shoe Restoration.
Urban Shoe Restoration. Hit the link below. Vinno's going to put it down there.
Wherever their fingers are. Where their fingers were pointing, it's not going to go nowhere near that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be above our head. You're going to have it coming in, hitting our head like a bag of dicks or something. Legend.
Anyway, guys, Hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. If you've got your pick of songs, throw them in the comments, get in the chat. Let us know. We always love to hear your feedback and hear your thoughts on the whole thing. Anyway, here's cheers, episode 23.
Left a bit
Stay
in the
safe.